The music in Sonic Frontiers is going to be fire. Or is it? Well, Sega just released some of the music tracks for the Cyberspace OST, brought to you by the one and only Tomoya Ohtani, in the form of a club mix track, which have us all raising our eyebrows. Like, what kind of music direction is this heading in? Is it going to be on par with other Sega titles? And does it match with the setting Sonic Frontiers is presenting? Well, let's break it down. But first, let me preface this by saying that these tracks are not at all what I was expecting. I thought it was just going to slightly expand on what was presented in Sonic Forces, where you get those vocal tracks and wider synths, which from what we can tell during the demo's gameplay, was perfectly fine. But there is way more to it, where it's leaning towards that rave, D&B, and techcore-like music, which for those of you who already follow my videos and my personal project with Sonic Momentum, know that this is exactly the music taste that I am using, where at this moment I'm trying really hard to contain my excitement, because personally, I love this musical direction, and I have always advocated for Sonic to go in a D&B type direction, as I think it's fitting for his speed type style. I'm especially a huge fan of that rhythm D&B that has an emphasis on that slap bass. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look no further than the calming vocal track provided towards the end of the Club Mix OST. In fact, I have a concept playlist for Sonic Momentum that's private that shows a lot of this musical taste. First combat in a Sonic game and now this? Did I just manifest it somehow? I digress. But even though this is a farther extension from Sonic Forces music, it does have hints of music from previous Sonic games, such as Sonic CD, Sonic Rush, and Sonic R, which had a touch of a genre that was pretty popular during the 80s and 90s, known as jungle/breakbeat D&B, which again is a genre that I enjoy. Some key features for this genre is the type of bass, electric piano, and vocal samples, making for some fantastic get up and go type of music. One thing I also noticed is that the bass in some of the tracks seem to be very reminiscent of the GBA sound font for the Sonic Advance series. Cybertrack, anyone? But even better, all of this still contributes to the overall narrative of Sonic Frontiers, where it encompasses the dysfunctional techno theme that Cyberspace presents. And I'd even go as far as to say that this is handled way better than in Sonic Forces. And like others have pointed out, Tomoya Ohtani is starting to really find his grounds in this new type of direction, which I honestly thought was a little bit debatable in Sonic Colors Ultimate. It seemed like Sega didn't want to fully commit with this kind of genre, when they actually should have. Not to mention that now we also have contrast in these themes, where we get Cyberspace being more upbeat, while the overworld itself is more immersive and melancholy, dare I say cinematic even, which is something that you can definitely tell with the recently released Kronos Island theme. Honestly, even if Cyberspace stages end up being a flop, we at least have an incentive to play them for the fire music that it provides, and that deserves a chef's kiss. November 8th can't seem to get any sooner, and neither can Mr. Pascal's video for Sonic Frontiers, as I'm sure he has a lot to work with. Which one was your favorite from the snippets that were provided? Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, subscribe to keep up with all this momentum. It only takes about 2 seconds for this free premium content, and you could always change your mind later. Mr. Bane out.